Hey guys, hope things are going well. In today's video, as you can see, we are going to be talking about Sansevieria. Sansevieria or snake plants have been reclassified as Dracaena or Dracaena, depending on where you are. For this video, I'm going to refer to them as Sansevieria and as snake plants because that's just what I'm used to. So on Instagram today I did post something about Sansevieria propagation through leaf cuttings. So in this video we're going to talk about that and also what you can do if you decide to do any crown divisions or root divisions as well. Before I begin, I'm going to move these leaves or these plants out of the way so that way I don't poke my eyeballs out. Alright, so Sansevieria or snake plants are fairly common plants. You can find them in shopping malls, you can find them in big box stores. Really easy to find plants. Some varieties are a little bit trickier to find, so I do have some more uncommon ones. Here you can see I have a moonshine. I actually got this one from IKEA a few years back, and then I also have something like this one over here, which is a starfish one. It's gotten quite tall. A lot of these snake plants can grow in low light conditions. They do prefer more light if possible, but they will survive these low light conditions. There are certain snake plants that do need high light, so something like this dwarf samurai is something you want to make sure you give a lot of light to. So in regard to propagation for snake plants, if you leave a snake plant in a pot, it will slowly multiply. So if you take a look at this, you know, I have lots of little babies in here. It has just decided to grow and multiply over time. So you can do that. If you're looking for something a little faster, you can do leaf cuttings or leaf propagation. So it's quite simple. A squirrel last year did this for me where it damaged a leaf, so I just trimmed that off and I put it in some water. So anything like one of these leaves, you can just take a pair of scissors and cut that up and put that in water or soil. So I'm going to show you an example of one of my leaf propagations that I did about half a year ago. So as you can see here, I have my Sansevieria cutting in a pasta sauce jar, and you can see some nice roots growing on here. I'll put this closer to the camera so that way you can see that leaf cutting. You can see a little baby right there. So that did take a little bit of time to grow into a little baby plant there. But quite easy to do. You do want to make sure that the leaf or the direction of the leaf is oriented correctly. You don't want to be putting that cutting upside down. If I wanted to for this leaf cutting, I could have done more than one cutting by snipping this leaf into smaller pieces. I decided just to leave it as that one leaf because it looked a little bit more stylish in my pasta sauce jar. So one thing to consider when you do leaf cuttings or a leaf propagation is that it can revert back to its original cultivar. So something like a Sansevieria moonshine, if you decide to do a leaf cutting of this, you won't get this nice kind of like frosty gray colored leaf. It's going to revert back to the parent type. So it is something that you want to make sure that you are aware of before you decide you buy a cutting like this or you decide to create your own. If you take a look actually in here with my Starfish Sansevieria, you can see I do have a little cutting that I did. It was a leaf cutting that I decided to put in here, and it's kind of tucked away in there. So what you'll notice about that one in particular is that it no longer has a flat starfish look. It's actually more cylindrical, and it's sending up leaves in all sorts of different directions. So that is obviously not what I want if I wanted to propagate a Starfish Sansevieria. Another option, of course, is crown division, or you can do a root division. So if you take a look, I'm going to put my leaf cutting down there. So if you take a look at my poorly planted moonshine snake plant, you can see that there are little roots or rhizomes, if you want to call them that, that send up and out new plants. I'm actually going to take this out a little more so that way you can see it. You can kind of see those roots there. So that is, making a big mess. So that is a great way to propagate something like a moonshine Sansevieria. So if you wanted to, you can take a pair of scissors or a sharp knife and just cut that root and start a new plant. So that will ensure that you get a plant that is genetically the same as the original plant. Sometimes you don't have nice little roots like on my moonshine Sansevieria, and it's a little bit trickier to do a crown division or a root cutting. So another option is you can do kind of like a pseudo air layering technique. I'm going to put up some pictures of what I did for my fernwood Sansevieria. So it tends to send out new babies and offshoots a little bit higher than the original plant. Not a lot of roots growing along the sides as that shoot develops. So what you can do is wrap some moist moss, or maybe you can even do some soil. I use some sphagnum moss and wrap that up and keep it moist. So over a couple of weeks or a few weeks, it's going to start to send out some roots. So once you think that air layering has done its job and your plant has enough roots, you can always grab a pair of scissors or a sharp knife again and cut that off and plant that into soil. Anyways, I hope that video was helpful just to explain two propagation techniques, your leaf cutting and your crown or root division of Sansevieria in order to do some propagating. I will also post a link down in the description of the different types of Sansevieria and a research paper that kind of went over some of the different cultivars and which ones tend to revert when you do leaf cuttings. Anyways, that's it for now. Take care and we'll see you later.